In the winter of 2026, America wakes up to a familiar routine that feels slightly heavier than it used to. The streets are active, offices are open, and stores are stocked. Yet there is an unspoken awareness in the air. People are not panicking, but they are calculating. Inflation has stopped being a headline and started being a habit. It quietly shapes how mornings begin, how evenings end, and how families think about tomorrow. Consider a working professional living outside a major city. 5 years ago, the paycheck felt comfortable. In 2026, the number is higher, but the feeling is different. Rent takes a larger share. Groceries require planning. Utility bills no longer surprise, but they also no longer forgive. This isn't financial collapse. It's financial pressure that never leaves the room. At the grocery store, inflation speaks in small increments. Prices do not double overnight, they climb steadily. Shoppers compare labels, switch brands, and pause before adding extras. The cart fills more slowly. Waste feels expensive now. People learn the value of moderation without being told. Even households with stable incomes develop sharper awareness of what is necessary and what is optional. Transportation reflects the same reality. Fuel prices stabilize compared to earlier spikes, but they remain elevated. Public transit fares adjust upward. Daily commuting becomes a cost-benefit decision. People plan routes carefully, combine errands, and sometimes choose time over convenience. Inflation reshapes habits without changing schedules on paper. Housing carries the deepest impact. Rent renewals in 2026 often come with difficult conversations. Accept a higher monthly payment or move farther away. Homeowners face rising insurance costs, maintenance expenses, and local taxes. Property ownership still represents stability, but it now demands constant attention. Every repair feels deliberate. Every upgrade is reconsidered. Healthcare expenses add another layer of calculation. Routine visits, prescriptions, and preventive care require budgeting. Families prioritize long-term well-being while managing short-term costs. People become more proactive about health, not because they fear illness, but because prevention makes financial sense. Inflation quietly encourages responsibility. Education reflects similar adjustments. Parents remain committed to their children's future, but choices are weighed carefully. Extracurricular activities are selected with purpose. College planning focuses on value, not prestige. Students work part-time not just for experience, but to ease household pressure. Education remains important, but it is approached with clarity rather than assumption. The workplace adapts as well. Employers increase wages, but often at a slower pace than living costs. Employees notice the gap. Job security, benefits, and flexibility gain importance. Career decisions prioritize stability over risk. People seek roles that endure rather than roles that impress. Daily consumption changes across households. Eating out becomes occasional rather than routine. Subscriptions are reviewed and canceled. Items are repaired instead of replaced. These shifts are not trends, they are responses. Inflation teaches discipline without lectures. Savings behavior transforms. Leaving money idle feels unproductive, yet chasing quick gains feels unsafe. Households focus on preservation and steady planning. Emergency funds regain importance. Financial conversations move from growth to sustainability. The goal becomes endurance, not acceleration. Inflation also shapes emotions. Stress does not come from inability, but from uncertainty. Bills are paid, but the future feels unclear. Families delay major decisions. Celebrations become simpler. Vacations are shorter. Joy remains, but it is refined. What makes inflation in 2026 distinct is its persistence. People stop waiting for conditions to reverse. Adaptation becomes the strategy. Awareness becomes the skill. Inflation no longer feels temporary, it feels structural. As months pass, Americans become more financially conscious. Expenses are tracked. Prices are questioned. Receipts become reminders. Learning happens daily, not academically. Inflation educates through experience. This is not a story of fear. It is a story of adjustment. Inflation in 2026 does not destroy daily life. It reshapes it steadily and quietly. It challenges excess and rewards discipline. People continue to work, plan, and hope. They simply do so with sharper focus. Inflation becomes the background noise that teaches balance. By the end of each day, households reflect. Not on how much they earned, but on how wisely they navigated. Inflation changes the measure of success from accumulation to stewardship. This shift defines daily life in America in 2026. Not chaos, not comfort, but conscious living shaped by constant awareness. As 2026 progresses, inflation no longer feels like an external force acting on America. It becomes something internal, shaping how people think before they act. The real change is not in price tags, but in mindset. Americans begin to adjust expectations, redefine priorities, and redesign daily life around consistency rather than excess. Older generations feel this shift most clearly. Those approaching retirement notice that fixed incomes stretch less each year. Spending becomes intentional. Large purchases are postponed. Comfort is found in predictability rather than expansion. Experience teaches them that stability is built slowly, protected carefully, and lost quickly when ignored. Younger adults experience inflation differently. Many entered adulthood during years of economic uncertainty. For them, rising costs are not shocking. They are normal. This generation learns flexibility early. Skills matter more than titles. Multiple income streams feel practical, not ambitious. Security comes from adaptability, not assumption. Families develop new rhythms. Budget conversations replace casual spending. Parents explain choices to children. Kids learn that value is not about price, but purpose. Inflation quietly educates households without formal instruction. Responsibility becomes a shared language. Communities respond in subtle ways. Local businesses regain importance. People choose familiarity over convenience. Trust becomes valuable. Shared resources, cooperative habits, and neighborly support quietly strengthen. Inflation encourages connection where excess once dominated. Time itself gains value. Long commutes feel costly. Unnecessary obligations are trimmed. People protect their hours as carefully as their money. Balance becomes practical, not philosophical. Inflation teaches efficiency. Health becomes a long-term priority. Preventive habits gain attention. People invest in routines that reduce future strain. Well-being is no longer optional. It is strategic. Inflation reframes health as preparation rather than reaction. Career paths evolve. Rapid growth loses appeal when stability is uncertain. Employees value clarity, ethics, and sustainability. Work is chosen not just for income, but for endurance. Purpose matters because instability is tiring. Consumption habits continue to refine. Minimalism is no longer a trend. It is a response. Households reduce clutter. Purchases are deliberate. Repair replaces replacement. Inflation rewards patience. Savings behavior matures. People seek balance. They avoid extremes. Planning replaces speculation. The focus shifts from fast outcomes to lasting protection. Financial decisions are weighed carefully, guided by responsibility rather than excitement. Emotionally, inflation produces calm alertness. Panic fades. Awareness remains. People accept reality without surrendering optimism. This balance defines resilience. Inflation stops being feared and starts being managed. By mid-2026, the question is no longer when prices will fall. The question is how wisely people live within current conditions. Acceptance replaces denial. Strategy replaces complaint. Education reflects this shift as well. Adults seek financial literacy, not to get rich quickly, but to avoid mistakes. Knowledge becomes a shield. Learning becomes continuous. Even leisure adapts. Entertainment is simpler. Experiences are chosen carefully. Joy is found in presence rather than expense. Inflation strips distraction and reveals intention. Housing decisions become thoughtful. Location, size, and maintenance are evaluated realistically. Ownership is approached with respect. Renting is approached with clarity. Inflation removes illusion. Technology supports adaptation. Tools for budgeting, tracking, and planning become common. Data guides decisions. Awareness becomes daily practice. By the end of 2026, inflation has left a mark deeper than numbers. It has trained millions to live deliberately, to respect limits, to value balance, to understand that prosperity is not just accumulation, but sustainability. America continues forward. Not unchanged, but wiser. Inflation does not define life. It refines it. Those who adapt early find stability. Those who resist struggle. The lesson is quiet, but firm. Conditions change. Principles endure. Daily life in America remains active, hopeful, and purposeful. Inflation simply becomes the pressure that shapes stronger habits, clearer choices, and more grounded living.